Welcome to this segment of Soul Lunar Cycle. This is brought to you by BeSimply, and this is a lunar meditation. A segment of soul, silence, and sound, and also soul and Lunar Cycle meditation for the new moon. Twice a month, these get merged together, and this is in a month known as February, on a date that would have straddled the 19th and 20th for many of us around the globe. So, and also as year is 2023. However, we're going into Tibetan New Year, so happy Losar for those who celebrate and abide by a lunar calendar. And just a little background on a lunar calendar, which many cultures follow. In the Tibetan tradition, the cycles are 12 to 13. And the reason it doesn't stay at 13, so you bring it back so it doesn't get too far out. Because basically we're spiraling back. But there's this beautiful teaching around reversal. So you come back and then you move forward. And that pulling back is oftentimes a much needed reflection, of like, okay, where do I need to come back and then move forward? And we get mirrored this in life where we get repetitive lessons where we haven't learned. So that's a pull back. We return back to the lesson until we're ready to move forward. So in the time of the new year, this is a time to purify, cleanse, clear darkness. And in Hopi tradition, who's part of my family too, is that we are at a time of spring and renewal. And that is what the Tibetan New Year would signify. And so that end point of the darkness is really an opportunity to help assist clear out the energies that don't serve darkness, evil, sorcery, magic, all of those things. And in Hopi culture, this is known in the winter months not to touch the earth, not even to be dancing on it, disrupting, planting, because our ancestors knew that this is when things that are trapped, death, darkness, lifts off the planet. So you can meet that however you wish. And also I encourage you, whatever your traditions are, to understand them and deepen within them. I know for myself personally, when I deepen into my practices, they open like that metaphorical lotus flower. The petals keep appearing. There's more and more depth as I get into the roots. And I know a lot of people maybe refer to the roots of a lotus flower as maybe not so good, but actually that's the depth. That's the depth for which that lotus flower carries. So as we go into this new year, or for those of you that would like to have a new year, because we've had lots of brouhaha going on here on planet Earth, I want to remind you all that we are in this chaotic time. And chaos is really a beautiful moment because it allows things to reorganize. So this is really important and was kind of reinforced to me in my dreaming practices last night, that the more we hold a locked perspective, it'll keep reinforcing. And so we right now have all been actively in this moment doing many different things. Some people just carrying on, some people in kind of a shell shock state at the horrors that are unfolding around, and then maybe somewhere in between. All in all, I would say that most people have had a sense of a shift over these past 3 years because our societies were altered. So people can't avoid that no matter how they choose to work with it. So this is that moment that we can really assist one another. And as I've been encouraging you, is to really lean in to the solutions, the world that you want to create and self-organized. And if you choose not to do that and keep reinforcing that which was yesterday or the day before, that's your choice. However, that's how this mechanism works. Our mind will reinforce what we want or we don't want. And ideally, in a meditative practice, one is keeping the mind empty, clear, for many reasons, and especially at the age of where we are with tech, it is invading our mind space through these Wi-Fi mechanisms, Bluetooth mechanisms. Because we all are telepathic, we all are sonars, we're sending waves and they can be picked up. So more reason to keep your mind clean and protected so that you can drive where you want it to go versus having an external source have influence on you. And so as we're at this new moon and entry into a new lunar cycle for some and a continuation for others, there are two things that I want you to remember is that in chaos, it's really important to decide where you want to vibrate at. Meaning that where do you want to vibrate at? What frequency do you want to magnetize to? Not in grasping, but for the benefit of all. And so if you're to hold that frequency, when all of this settles, you'll remagnetize to that. However, if you stay in fear, anger, ignorance, you will remagnetize to that. And so it's a really, really beautiful opportunity to get clear with yourself and ask yourself where you want to vibrate at. And to also remember that the frequency of love, that gateway, and it's a proverbial word that maybe is a little bit manipulated or a lot manipulated through codependency, but I want you to go into it as divine, as a radiant love that is unconditional, the way a mother looks at her child. It breaks beyond all boundaries. And so when we remember that love, that divine love, that no matter what, that's the constant that we have to access. And you can use whatever words you want to describe it. It's, in my mind and heart and soul, undescribable, but it's ever present. So if you connect to that frequency and connect to that vibration from the unexplainable, you will help juice that up. And then you'll also be able to start to see and witness truth in a way. You'll understand where one is coming from and where one is at, so that you can help your fellow sisters and brothers. Because when all this chaos settles, everyone's going to be remagnetized to where they were in the chaos. And this is very much what happens at death, that if the mind is not clear, it can carry on from the past and remagnetize to things maybe that one did not want or wish they could have gotten away from or had liberated or created freedom from. So it's a daily practice. It's a daily muscle to exercise that. Where does one want to vibrate at? And then if you can welcome the divine, if you don't have a relationship with the divine nature to run through you in that effort, it will support you. And then remember that you as the observer brings that energy into a space. And so if I walk you all into this sacred sanctuary of the divine, and you start to witness your divinity and the world's divinity, it starts to awaken it all around you. Yet if you do the equal and opposite, that's going to awaken that further and further all around you. So as we go into this new moon cycle, notice what reflections that you had. And the reflections are in shadow. You know, this is when the feminine would be shedding in her cycle if we were all synced up. And so we're seeing the shadow right now. And this past few weeks has really been an interesting reflection, especially around the sacral water. So as you see that, I really encourage you to bring it back into the frequency that you want to be at, and to hold that, and to encourage others to be that too. It's when we get into that locked perspective, we limit one another because of maybe something we witnessed decades and decades ago or experienced last week. We're ever present and changing and transforming. And when we encourage each and every one of us to be that, we will continue to blossom and flow. And then the other component at this moment that gets examined in Tibetan tradition is, one thing called our ignorance. And so many might not know, but in a monastic setting, it's not just about meditating and chanting. It's about studying and understanding things from different perspectives. And we're truly at this age where even for those who that consider them self-scholarly and study the math and sciences, that is being cracked open, because we're at the end of an age of manipulation through science, through thought, through words, through all things. And so that word ignorance, which might offend many, is actually welcoming one to let go of their ignorance, to connect to their wisdom, to connect to those mountaintops, and to realize that they have the opportunity to reawaken to an intelligence that has been shrouded. And sometimes the ego, which is another thing that's given some attention and love during these teachings, has pride, and that pride can be helpful, but not too much, if you will. So especially in the intellect, when someone thinks they know something or they learned it, they put a bookend on it, they can hold on to that so tight that they keep themselves from actually understanding what else might be possible. And so if you can examine and take an inventory where maybe there's ignorance in and around you, and if you're willing to move beyond what you've been taught and schooled, because as we go into this age of mastery, new ways of being are available to all of us. And what might have been considered the unimaginable is here and imaginable. So another few things before we go into this meditation that you're being invited to examine and move forward with as we move into this lunar cycle is that there's this energy that's been trapped in our sacral, and that energy is can come forward as envy, jealousy. It can also come forth as darkness or quote unquote evil, and that has attached itself throughout all of humanity. And some have been more diligent at staying in well-being and others haven't. And so if you consider yourself ready, this is a great time to cleanse your home. In Native tradition, our homes are our womb, which is the sacral, which governs the water. And it's not by accident that water's being tampered with right now. Yet we can bring it back to its well-being, even if today's understanding of science says we can't. So I welcome you to think about where you have been grasping, where your wounds are, where you've been brought back to transform and heal once again, to really welcome yourself to push on through this time and bring yourself back to purity and a clear well-being, coupled with these other elements of being in the resonance you want to be in and allowing the unexplainable to support you. And then finally, the thing that has been really disturbing to many of us is that there's been, I call it, a lot of horrible things spoken with that word that starts with H and ends with E and has the word 8 in it. I've always, as I've raised my kids, asked them not to speak that word and one other because it doesn't serve. And when, from my traditions, we speak in that way or think in that way, we open the gateways of HE, double hockey sticks, another word I don't like to say. So if you're ready, as I mentioned last week, to get out of Dante's Inferno, then it's this moment that you can welcome yourself out of that inferno and really see if you have any animosity or those strong words towards anyone, anything, that you let them fall to the riverbed. As we cleanse the waters, let that sediment fall to the riverbed and become rocks. So as we lead into this meditation, I want to welcome you to first let all of that just wash away. It'll meet you where it needs to, welcome you into your heart. And I want to welcome you to take a nice, gentle breath into that heart. And then exhale out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, welcoming you to feel into your highest expression, your wisdom keeper that's at the top of your mountain that will help lift the shroud of your own ignorance. And then taking another deep breath in up to the crown, inhale. And exhale. Another one, inhale. And exhale. And as you sit on that mountaintop, I welcome you to feel that frequency that you want to resonate at, where you want to be at for yourself and others. And then as you feel that wisdom permeate throughout your entire being, I welcome you to allow that energy to flow down that metaphorical mountain into the rivers below, and allowing any sediment that needs to settle below the riverbed to be laid to rest there. Allow Mother Earth to manage the process of repurposing these type of energies. And then gently returning to your heart center, taking another deep breath in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. And then gently from there, follow your natural breathing pattern. Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual being. And then gently, without staying where your presence is, just recline into Shavasana, corpse pose, aka prone position on your back. Alternatively, you can curl up into the fetal position on the right or left side. And then gently from there, reconnect to your natural breathing pattern. Allow that to be your focal point as you lead into and receive these sound transmissions. Gently from there, welcoming you to take a deep breath into your heart and out. Again, inhale and exhale. Good. Again, inhale and exhale. And then gently from here, welcoming self to just be here for a moment before you transition into the next. When you're ready, you can just gently rise up into a seated position. And then taking another deep breath in and out. And I just welcome each and every one of you to welcome your highest expression, to lift the shroud up from that which you perceive that might not be clear. And then I welcome each of you to let go of any attachments that you might have that keep you from vibrating at that frequency that you want to resonate at and share with the world around you. And then I welcome each and every one of you just to soften your gaze and to hold your heart in equanimity with one another to the best of your ability. And then I welcome each and every one of you to cleanse your heart, mind, and speech of words that diminish self and others. And then I welcome each and every one of you that grasped in the method where one is envious or jealous of others, to welcome yourself to see your purpose, to remember that you are divine, and to welcome you to move into active service for the benefit of all. May we all reconnect in this divine moment for the benefit of all. Until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with special thanks to Random Rab, Dante Marino, and
they all have a meaning and they look just like you.
I bow to you all with deep respect,
Some
soft gaze, gentle
places,
smile,
some place
and
new.
namaste. Be it.
All I really wanna do is flee under the stars in the trees. Baby, that's all I need. Dance where you walk. See, the trees don't need the handheld, they grow beside you. Yeah, they don't try to fight you, don't try to push far